Hey everybody, this is DeoGenZ, welcoming you to another edition of Pokemon Potential. This week, we're going to see what works well in a hailstorm. It's the Hoenn favorite, Walrein. I think this poke was pretty freaking awesome, and although it's not in any high tier, it's probably RU or NU, I think it's still awesome. And there is some usability, especially when it comes to hail teams. Now, of course, if you want to use this in a hail team, you're going to have to include the ability Ice Body, because that will regenerate Walrein's health similar to how Leftovers does, so double attached for Leftovers regen and Ice Body regeneration in a hailstorm, recovery each turn, and you can include Protect to extend that and make sure that Walrein doesn't take damage when it's vitally not okay for it to. However, if you want it to be just overall bulky and not necessarily have to have hail for its ability to activate, perhaps you would like to, say, switch in on certain pokes that you know you can set up on pretty well, then include Thick Fat, because what that does is it reduces the damage taken from fire and ice types. Not just those Pokemon in general, it has to be ice or fire type moves. Just want to specify, because I realize there could be some confusion. The type of Walrein is water and ice, but it can know a poison type move, and that one is important for this supporting substituting, which it, again, holds another niche there, on top of being a hail team supporter, so Walrein is great on many fronts. Toxic is awesome. It's that compiling, poisoning, status-altering move that every metagame player hates because it can throw off some of your best sweepers, and when walled correctly, you can use Substitute plus Protect with the combination of Hail and Leftovers to regen Walrein's health very quickly. Or, alternatively, if you don't want to waste any of your health with Substitute and you want to have a free switchability from Walrein back to your user of Hail, perhaps you don't want to have Hail on this poke, and I would honestly recommend against it. It is an included other option because it's a possibility for Walrein to use, and it's okay for it to set itself up. However, it's slow. It's only got 65 speed base, and we're not making any investments in that for the effort values. You're only mainly focusing on health points for the maximum substitutes, and the maximum recovery, of course, from Leftovers and an Ice Body effect. But you're then splitting the remaining 252 between defense and special defense to make sure it's the bulkiest thing on your Hailstorm team, if that's what you're going for. Again, you could just keep this on a normal team and have it with Thick Fat, Roar, Surf, Toxic, and Protect, and still have Leftovers recovery, but be able to take the brunt of fire damage and ice even better than before, giving you a super free switch, forcing your opponent to either retract back whatever they had and send something out that they might not necessarily expect a Walrein to have the poison move Toxic on it, but for your team, the support, it is just pivotal to include it. And it will make sure that your opponent stays on their toes because they can get toxified at any time. But, of course, that will be after they switch in a poke that will uptake the toxicity. Cannot be a poison type or a steel type, so just keep that in mind. Don't waste a toxic maneuver when you could be setting up a sub, for example. You have to choose what to do in those switch moments depending on what scenario is at your hands, and trust me, it will never be the same, so it's all up to you based on how your team is arranged. Just a cautionary warning, you must include Surf or Ice Beam or preferably some sort of stab move, because if you have no offensive moves and you get taunted, that is serious trouble. Taunt is thrown in the game to make sure that you can't do substitutes, you can't do any of your toxicity any further, or Protect, which is the one thing you may have to worry about when your opponent switches their poke. If they know that Walrein is a supportive type poke and they're not expecting any sort of special attack EV training, then they may use Taunt and then throw off all of your tactics in terms of protecting, subbing, and using the toxic support, which is the main point of this set. So if that occurs, You have Surf on your side, which is good to take out things like a Gliscor if you encounter it, although Walrein and Gliscor are many tiers apart, so you probably won't be encountering that ever if you, consider the metagame tiers in your battles. But that would about do it. Make sure to include Surf to not be taunt locked, and Toxic Substitute Protect is a great combination for a Hailstorm team when Ice Body's enabled on its abilities. So, I've been DeoGenZ, hoping you enjoyed this episode and wondering if you've used Walrein before. If you have, please comment below. I want to know, in what fashion did you train it in? Did you even care about EV training at the time? Because I'm sure, like many of you, when I first played with Walrein, it was in the Coliseum days, or was that Gale of Darkness? I know there was a Shadow Walrein in one of those GameCube version games, and EV training really didn't mean a thing in those games, so maybe you just battled with it because it was there. I don't know. Leave a comment below. And remember to share this video if you want a chance to win a shiny every 10 episodes of this series. If you're confused on how that works, check out my episode 1 of Pokemon Potential, where I explain everything. Thanks for watching. I'm DeoGenZ, and I'll see you next week.